Next, we will have a panel discussion. Welcome Alina Serrano with the Alliance for LGBTQ Youth.
Hello, I'm Alina Serrano. I'm a care coordinator with the Alliance for Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender Questioning Youth. In the next 45 minutes to 55 minutes, you will hear from our youth advocates, a panel that they came together, and they were specifically, they're going to be speaking about HIV prevention, the stigmas around being perhaps dealing with HIV and the culture of it, as well as the stigmas around being gay, youth of color in Miami.
Okay. Hi, I'm Victoria Byfield, and I come from North Miami. I go to North Miami Senior High. I'm 17 years old, and my PGP is her, she, hers.
Oh, all right. Oh, I'm Jason Paul. I go to North Garden. Shout out to the Bulldogs. I'm 18 years old. My PGP is his, him. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Victor Lopez. I'm 16. I go to North Miami Beach Senior High, and I identify as a transgender male.
Hi, my name is Aurelie. I'm 24 years old. I'm genderqueer. I identify as he's and she's.
Hello. Okay. Hi, my name is Logan. I'm 17 years old. I'm 17 years old. I go to North Miami Beach Senior High School. I identify as genderqueer, gender fluid, and my pronouns are neutral, they, them, theirs.
Hi, my name is Erica Benoit, and PGP means preferred gender pronoun. Mine is she and hers. I'm 19 years old. I go to FIU University, and I grew up in North Miami Beach neighborhood.
Hi, my name is Nathaniel Douglas. My pronoun is he and him, and I was born in Miami, originally from Little Haiti. That's a little part of Miami. Moved to Carol City, and then I went to Carol City Senior High, and I graduated. What else? That's it? All right.
To start us off, I would like to ask, what was your experience coming out, and why is it that some youth choose not to come out?
I'm 24 years old and I still have yet to come out. And the reason why I haven't come out is because I feel like there's nothing for me to come out of. I am who I am. The people that love me are happy with who I am. They accept me. So I have nothing to prove to anyone. That's the reason why I haven't come out.
Well, for me, my story is a little bit different. I figured out like how I identify when I was like 16. So I'm already a junior in high school, and people already know me by like the name I was born with and whatnot. And then here I am figuring out that I'm like genderqueer and gender fluid, and I use neutral pronouns. So in a way, I'm kind of half out and half inside because, you know, sometimes I'll freak out if people ask me my name because it's like, are they gonna be accepting to who I am, or are they gonna push back because they don't understand or tell me that how I identify isn't real and that there's something wrong with me?
Well, I wouldn't say I have not come out, so I don't really know, because I feel like if I do come out, then there's going to be hectic responses towards me and stuff. Like I am very shy, so like okay, I'm shy, but I'm blunt. So if somebody was to ask me, then I'll probably tell them, but I will also tell them that it's none of their business. So yeah, and most youth wouldn't come out because they also have to fear about their environment and surroundings, and also their family coming out if they haven't come out to their family. So it's a lot to deal with on those youths that have not come out.
I mean, with my coming out story, I came out about 3 times, 3 separate occasions. I originally came out as bisexual when I was about 8, and my mom threw like this giant fit, and then my grandma, on the other hand, like she spoke to my grandma about it, and my grandma was like totally supportive. And my grandma, before she passed away, educated my mom a little bit about that. Um, I guess I came out as a masculine lesbian in like 6th grade. And when that happened, my mom kind of just like at that point she gave up and she like let me dress masculine and whatever. And my dad, on the other hand, he was like, I don't care what you do, just get good grades. I came out as transgender when I was in my freshman year, and I'm currently a sophomore in high school. Freshman year was hectic for me. As of this month, I will be 1 year on hormones, and my freshman year, I wasn't on hormones yet, so I had to deal with the school system, and coming out to the school system, I had to deal with my mom, educating my dad. My dad is still hectic on the subject. But like coming out in general is just, it's a scary thing for youth. Like it's just something that you fear for your life. It's like me coming out to, let's say, a partner or to a friend, like, are they gonna sit there and put a gun to my head, or are they gonna sit there and accept me? It's like you always have that 50-50 chance. Why are youth afraid to come out? Like I said, there's always that 50-50 chance of either someone putting a gun to your face and wanting to kill you, or sitting there and accepting you, or just being ignorant about the subject, and then you try to educate them, but they're still going to sit there and be blunt with you and tell you you're wrong.
All right, coming out, I don't know about that, because with me, I was born not really caring what people said. So the way I'm set up, anybody could be whatever they want. I don't care. I'll accept you for who you are, and plus, we're all humans. So at the end of the day, we just got to get stuff done. And let me see that. Oh, why are some youth? Okay, all right. The only reason some youth are refusing not to come out is because, yo, to be on the real though, everybody's closed-minded. That's it. Everybody do not want to be like, oh, this is bad. Okay, who says it's bad? God? I read the Bible and I've seen gay people in the Bible. So Saul and Jonathan, read it. And plus, there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody making money. Everybody got to make their way. Everybody got to live their life. That's it. Oh, Reg, you the Trim VP.
Okay, I would like to ask.
Well, I haven't coming out because I'm straight. I'm straight, and I came out. I told like I started speaking at 9 years old about living with HIV, and really I haven't no gotten no bad comeback. Everything I did it with confidence, and people just accept me. It's just not. Well, I think it's totally different from coming out if you HIV, because if you HIV, you just gotta be with yourself. You gotta have it with yourself. You can't be shy about who you are.
Okay, I asked if can anyone define LGBTQ?
Okay, so I guess I'll define. Well, LGBTQ plus is like an umbrella term because a lot of people think that it's just like gay and straight when it's really an entire spectrum of different sexualities and whatnot and how you identify. For example, in my case, I identify as like genderqueer, gender fluid. I am I appear feminine. I was born with feminine genitalia. But when it comes to me, who I am, how I act, I am more of a combination of some from male, some from female. I'm not exactly put into one specific box. So I identify as that to kind of like pinpoint like who I am.
I identify as queer, so which means I'm just um it depends on like how I'm feeling towards the person. If I get a good vibe from you, then we can talk about it. If not, then let's keep it pushing. You know what I mean? It's just about being yourself, you know? That's what it is.
Oh, you want to know? Okay. Okay. I don't know all of them, but I know most of them. And okay, L means lesbian, G means gay, B means bisexual, T means transgender or transsexual. Q means queer or questioning. I know it's like asexual and oh yeah, I thought
Ally, intersex.
yeah.
What did you just?
It was like two something.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
number
two-spirited. I think it's two-spirited.
two something. Yeah.
So my next question will be, what's the difference between identifying as gay and transgender?
I guess I get that one. Okay, so gay, there's a difference between sexuality and gender. Sexuality is what you are attracted to. Gender is who you identify as. Like Logan was saying, Logan identifies as genderqueer, gender fluid, and it's a spectrum. And like, there's no specific box. Like, there's like gray, black, and white, and then there's the whole in between of colors that fall. And it's just like, that's your gender, and then your sexuality, you can be pansexual, bisexual, lesbian, gay. So that's the difference.
When identifying with the LGBT community, what are some experiences/challenges you face? And is there tolerance, acceptance, or opposition?
What do you mean by, like, you said when you're dealing with the LGBTQ community?
As identifying as someone who's lesbian, what is the challenge that you face, like as far as family, friends, school?
Okay. Family, you gotta worry about them treating you differently. Like, let's say you have like little nieces or sisters, whatever. Like, some families, like, they'll be okay, but then others, they're like, oh, you're trying to corrupt this person or that person. School wise, you gotta worry about them treating you differently too. So as they feel like your sexuality, yeah, I said that right. Sexuality, like, it's contagious. So you gotta worry about them. Oh, like, you'll be in the lunch line and somebody behind you be like, oh, she's a lesbian, and they'll just like, I don't want to eat here right now. Like, they'll just move. So you gotta worry about that. Yes, the stigmas.
Like, I know, like, in my case, me coming out to my family, I would have to be very selective with who I go to. Because, I mean, even in my family, there have been, like, one uncle in particular who people were questioning about, like, his sexuality. And I remember my mom told me a story about how one of his brothers used to, like, pick at him and mess with him a lot. And he really went in on him. And it got to the point where my mom stepped in the middle. And my mom was like, leave him alone. And my uncle and my mom got into, like, a fist fight. And they fell down the stairs because, like, she was trying to, like, protect her brother. So when it comes to family, it's very tricky because they're the ones that are putting a roof over your head. And if you're a minor, they're the ones that are providing you with this, providing you with that. So if you come out to your family and they completely, like, disown you or kick you out, then you're kind of stuck. You're kind of floating because you have basically just been kicked out of your house. You don't have anywhere to live. You more than likely don't have a job. You don't have a way to provide needs for yourself. So it's a very dangerous thing, like, to identify as that and to come out to your family and not know how they're going to react. And then when it comes to school, you spend 7 hours a day in school. And it's like, I know that, like, I have had to call lawyers on teachers because they were being discriminatory towards people that identify in, like, the LGBTQ plus spectrum. Like, they would do passive aggressive things. And when you try to get the administration involved, the administration is like, oh, well, they're not talking to you and they're not calling you, like, by your birth name, so that's fine. So in other words, they'll call you, like, it. Be like, you come here, and they don't say your name. They don't, like, give you, like, that validation. They don't give you that respect, and that's very, like, dehumanizing. So when it comes to administration definitely lacks because they're like, oh, well, as long as they're not, like, being like, oh, you and da 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 da, and they're not, like, teasing you, then it's fine. But in actuality, it's not fine. Administration would rather make you sit there and feel like feel like you don't matter than actually like reprimand their staff?
I'm not in school, so I can't really speak on the school term, but I can talk about work because I do work. And right now, I am having the situation where I have to deal with one of my managers. He's a Jehovah's Witness, so he's very homophobic. So it makes work really hard when I have to work with him because he nitpicks every single thing, and runs to the boss, and I'm always getting in trouble when it comes to him. And one of the other managers had to step in and be like, hey, if he's always the one complaining about her, maybe there's a problem with him, not her. Like, pay attention to stuff. So it does. It makes it really hard because, you know, you look at your schedule and you're just like, oh my God. Like, you can either go to work, deal with this person, or you can call out, get in trouble for either going to work or calling out, you know what I mean? So it gets hard, you know?
I have like I've been around people that have bad stigma on gay people, who especially in my community, Haitian American. I don't think they too much kindly deal with that kind of situation, but they talk names about them, and I just like, why you do that? 'Cause we all humans, and like you bet you won't say in their face. And 9 out of 10 they don't say in their face. So like shut up. I have been like outside my community. I have been in other places where that I've seen a lot of that happen. Like people talk about gay people, and I just wanted to give a feedback on that because I have experience about that.
I mean, dealing with my experiences at school, especially at school, like Logan had to call lawyers on my behalf because I had to deal with this one specific teacher. And it was weird because like I'm like a biology nerd. So I had her last year and she loved me. Like I would answer all these questions. I was like her star student. I come out as trans to her, everything changes. My work starts to go missing. I dropped from an A to a, I think it was a D, an A to a D. Instead of referring to me as Victor, she referred to me as my birth name. There's another student in my class who has the same birth name as me. And so that student would respond, and then she would giggle and chuckle under her breath and be like, no, the other one. Or like still to this day, she just calls me by my last name, and she still tries to avoid pronouns. And like when I remember last week I was sitting in like a group, and I sit in the group, it was mostly females and I was the only male, and then she would be like, ladies, calm down. And I was like, I didn't say anything, but like it's these little things that this teacher does that like affects you. And like with school, I went to the principal, I've spoken to the principal. The principal was like, okay, we took care of this. All they really did was sit the teacher down and be like, you need to stop because discrimination. It's like, yeah, it makes sense, but it's like you didn't do anything because she's still, like she's breaking the rule, but barely, and it's like they don't really care. So that's, yeah.
I know you mentioned about as coming out to your family and people who get pushed out, and I'm thinking about homeless youth that have come out and don't have resources, and sometimes their sexual partner may be twice their age and older, and they're at risk because now you're dating someone that's older, you don't know what they have, what's going on, and you're not in that same safe environment. And who do they come to? What do they reach out to as far as protection and being accepted and having more tolerance? And like I noticed between your school story and work, is there any acceptance or tolerance in the place?
I would say, I wouldn't really say that there's acceptance when it comes to what matters, like in school. And like when it comes to like administration, like yeah, your teachers, they can accept you or whatnot, whether or not they are willing to do so. But when it comes to administration, they just tolerate it. They're just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. That's like another gay student. They're just having like gay problems, whatever. I have to go focus on the cafeteria and the lunch line, you know. So it's like we just kind of get pushed to the side. they're like, oh yeah, we're here for all of our students, but are they really? Like when what Victor was saying, like that teacher should have been reprimanded. They should have definitely done something. It's like, I should not have had to call the ACLU and be like, what can we do about this teacher? And then the funny thing is that the lawyer was like, we can definitely take on the case. And then it was also kind of funny how the school then decided that, oh, we should sit down and talk to her after you get a lawyer involved. So school doesn't look out for us. Like, that's like the bottom line. They just tolerate us and they just write us off as just being dramatic, and we just have problems because we're like gay or whatever.
I mean, like, even Logan and I are in our school GSA, and even with our GSA, we had to deal with, like, I forgot her name, but the activities director, I think it was. And the activities director was like, she was like breathing down our back, and she's like, y'all aren't doing this, this, and this. But with other clubs, she wasn't as like picky, and she wasn't constantly like there trying to get us like, she was constantly trying to get us shut down. And it was just like, y'all need to like relax and let us be like who we are. Like, we're helping the school, we're giving a safe space for people who need it, and you're just sitting here trying to shut us down because you're homophobic or transphobic or whatever you are.
So I'll say like at my school, I'll say, okay, the administrators, one time they're like, you know how they have the 8th graders, they come to this high school and see what high school they want to go to and what clubs they want to join. They actually had us sit by the Bible club. So it was very awkward trying to talk to people, and then the Bible club is sitting right there looking at you and like look at you and then look at each other. Like this one guy, he actually came up, he was like, why are you in this club? I'm like, because I want to. It's just, oh, you should come and try. I was like, I was in a Bible club, I don't want to be in there anymore. I'm in a Bible club right now. It's first priority. Guy's hot. So I go to that. But there is some safe spaces in the school. Like, I'll say 3 of the counselors that I know of, there's 3 of them that are LGBTQ friendly. There are teachers that are accepted, but there are teachers that like they wouldn't say it directly, but they'll make a comment to another student or another teacher, and like they don't point, they'll nod in your direction or something. And I have seen this, but I don't talk to people, so they don't know that I've seen it. So I'm behind the scenes. So, but if there is people that have something against the LGBT community, trust me, I'm right there to correct them and hush. I don't know. Sometimes I'm very outspoken, so I do get over exaggerated, but it do happen.
To answer the question about homeless youths that do get kicked out, there are organizations like the Alliance. They have a program for that. Pride Lines Youth Services also. They provide services for kids. They can contact those people, so they can be able to set them up and help them out. Maybe set them up for the night somewhere until they can get them some actual help in the morning when stuff start opening up. So
Just to make a comment on what you said, the thing is that like the Alliance for GLBTQ Youth, like those organizations are amazing, they're great, but a lot of youth don't know about them. I found out about the Alliance by chance. I just happened to be sitting in my trust counselor's office when someone from the Alliance came down and was talking to her about doing like a summer leadership program. I found out by chance. So if you're homeless, you are focusing on where you're gonna sleep, when you're gonna eat, and like being at school is one of the last things on your mind. So if you aren't in the school setting to see when these people come in, you may not even know that these services are there for you. So there's definitely a problem when it comes to like accessibility.
That was my next question. You guys both made good points, but I'm thinking my next question is, how do you feel about not having LGBTQ/HIV friendly adults or leadership in your community or school, and also not having them inform you about these type of services?
Oh, all right. To answer your question, without Without all those supporters, everything's going wrong. Everything's going wrong. The kids will have sex. The kids will do things they're not supposed to be doing. And on top of that, the the chart that was shown of disease going on, it's going to get way high. And some of us, some of the individuals that are not minorities, have the information and they're like, I'm going to use that and I'm going to stay safe. On the other hand, other people that don't really have that information or have any people to talk to them about it, they're going to either be somewhat close-minded and going to pursue what they're going to be doing, which is only for a moment, and they're going to wind up getting something they're going to regret, while the other half, no, while the other few might be like, all right, I'm going to be protective, I'm going to have all of this, but some people are lucky and some people don't. So I'm just saying, like, if they don't have nobody in their area, there's other areas too, so you can basically go venture around and you're going to have that chance to meet somebody that's going to help you out.
I would say that people, you say that you didn't know the alliance was out there until they came to the school. They don't try to broadcast it because the community might talk out about it, saying they're uncomfortable, their children seeing this, like they don't want to expose them to this and stuff like that. That's why you barely see, there's a lack of commercials or things out there that shows us like, to help the LGBT community, the HIV/AIDS community. Like there's not really enough support towards us.
The thing about when it comes to support is that it's key that we have like these adults here, these professionals here to support us, because say if you come out and you come out to someone who isn't supportive or who isn't friendly, automatically they will shut you down. And they'll be like, what are you talking about? And suddenly it went from, I'm coming to you for support and help and information, to now I have to defend myself and who I am because you're coming at me sideways. And that especially comes to when it comes to like health. If you go to someone, say, if you go to like a counselor or something and you confide in them and you tell them that you need like some sort of like health resources, if it's dealing with like sex, sometimes you just get shut down and it's like, why are you having sex? Don't have sex. You're in school. You don't need to be thinking about that. They're very centered around the abstinence-only policy, when in actuality, that is not practical at all. The reality is that teenagers are going to have sex, and if they will have sex, if they are going to have sex, then they need to have the information that they need to protect themselves. If they don't have this information, the statistics will only get higher. So when you don't have those LGBTQ friendly people, when you don't have those HIV positive friendly people there, you just get shut down and you don't get the help that you need.
You actually are worried about being more depressed and taking all these medications that's like gonna really mess up your system, and like you'll be on the verge of dying and stuff. So.
I want to ask you specifically, since you said that you're working in, like in the like as far as your employers and HR, like are there people that's reaching out supportive you? I know you mentioned one in your story, but like are there people actually there?
Well, at my job, the funny thing is that like they don't really pay him any mind, because our store manager, she's actually a lesbian herself, so it's kind of like have a seat, type of thing. Like nobody's paying you mind. We already know you had a bad day at home and you just want somebody to blame. We know that's what it is. You know what I mean? So dealing with that, like, when I go to her, like, she knows if I come to her, like, that means that the problem has like escalated. You know what I mean? So she'll sit him down and let him, have it, and he'll come and he'll be nice because he knows that, like, he's in trouble pretty much, so he'll calm it down, so, but now, me and him, we haven't had a problem now, so different shifts, so it's working out.
Okay. Next question is, have you seen any rise in bullying and violence due to schools identifying a LGBTQ youth or HIV positive student? This includes like cyberbullying, Have you noticed people self-harming, myths, and misconceptions?
Self-harming. I have a few of my friends, well, majority of my friends, well, in my case, have HIV, and then they get tired, like Quintara said, you get tired after a while, and then you keep on taking the medication from birth, and then like you get tired, you get fed up, and there's no way around it. Like you either gonna make a choice that you're gonna live or you're gonna die. Some of my close friends and best friends have choose that path, like, and it's sad because it's not getting easier because after you go through so many medications that don't even work, and then you fall out and you like you saying what's next, you don't have no medication, like, and then they ask you to take one more pill, and then you like, one more pill, I done take like 40, 50 pills, like, and all it didn't work. It's just that one pill, it might work, it might not work, but they ain't take the chance to like see if it was gonna happen, if it did work. But I see this is like this life, this HIV life, it's like a gamble. It's like I don't know, cause ain't no way around it. You ain't ask for it. It was just handed to you unexpectedly. Like it's sad. Like, and I'm going through it. See, I'm going through this. Sorry, I almost cursed, but I'm going through this like every day, and it's 24 years, and then I'm just tired, and I'm not even getting tired. Like I'm just getting stronger and stronger, and seeing my people that had it so long, that me, and then they get tired after a while, and then I'm like, why? Like, why this had to happen to me?
All right, for the people that get bullying, man, I see people get bullying every day, and I'm like, man, I don't really worry about it, cause I'm like, okay, somebody calls you gay, somebody calls you lesbian, like I could not know you, but I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna be like, yo, I know whatever you are, okay, that's not my business, that's your business. But I see people bullying you, and they're like, oh, I don't like them, oh, I'm gonna just do this. I'm like, nah, just become stronger, cause all the stuff they telling you, just become stronger. Like, that's not really gonna do, it's just words. What are words gonna do to you? They could bully you and say this and this and this. Just be stronger. I know some people might not have, yeah, some people might be scared, but at least have somebody that's supporting of you and to make you overcome that challenge.
Oh, okay. Um, the question?
Erica, repeat
Can
the
you repeat
original
the question?
Oh, sorry. Have you seen a rise in bullying and violence due to schools identifying LGBTQ and HIV positive students?
All right. So at my school, we just recently came out with our yearbooks last week, and in specific parts of the yearbook, it'll say my name, my preferred name, and then when it's like all the students lined up, like freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, it has my birth name. And I had about 6 to 7 people that didn't know I was trans come up to me. And they're like, who that? And I'm like, I don't know. And like my face was there, and I was like, yeah, that's me. And then I had to tell them I'm trans, and some of them were like, okay, and some of them were like, eh. And then at the same time, it's just like, I have to deal with like the constant horror of the school putting my birth name out there. I have to deal with the constant horror of, let's say I want to run for something, and I have to deal with the school putting my birth name there because it's legally there, and it's $400 to change, and I don't have those $400. So, like, when you're in, like for example, I also want a job. I can't get it, like, I'm scared to get a job because of the fact that I have to put my social security and my birth name on there. So it's like, you have to deal with all these different factors, and you have to deal with bullying. Like, I've been bullied since I was in 4th grade. And every day, it's like, even yesterday, I had an incident where I grew up with these guys, and I was looking for someone, like, we were filing papers, and we were looking for someone who had, like, a similar birth name to me. And I was like, where is this person? And then they just pointed at me, and they kept repeating my birth name over and over and over again. And when I wouldn't respond to them, they're like, oh, you know, it's you, he, she, man, woman. And I was like, okay, well, y'all. And I shut down, and it's horrible. It's like daily. You have to get up, you have to look at yourself in the mirror, and it's just like I have to deal with all these words. And I know they're just words, but at the same time, words do so much to you, and like they get into your head and they repeat over and over again to the point where I've attempted to commit suicide about 3 to 4 times in my whole lifetime. I deal with depression, I deal with anxiety, I have to deal with the constant thought of, am I masculine enough today? Do I pass well? Even being like a year on hormones, it's the constant fear of how do other people see me, and how am I as a person gonna grow stronger from like every day? And sometimes it's just, you can't grow stronger, and you just sit there and you start to deteriorate, and it just becomes a constant battle.
Right. What challenges do you face accessing health resources when coming out, and youth who are not out?
When it comes to accessing health resources, well, if you're in school, most schools have school clinics. But the issue with the clinics is that I have gone into the clinics multiple times for whether it be something for my stomach or for a headache, and they're always saying, "Oh, we ran out. We don't have any more. We don't have any more Band-Aids. We don't have any more pads. We don't have any." It's like they don't have, like, I was in the school clinic, and there was a boy. I was in the waiting room, and there was a boy that came in, and he was throwing up, and he was in really bad condition, and he's diabetic. So he's throwing up. His sugar is too low. His body is like shutting down, and they're running around trying to figure out what to do because they don't have enough medical supplies. They had to have a student run to the cafeteria, try to find someone in the cafeteria to get him like juice or something, and they're trying to call his mom. His mom is not answering. You know, he was okay after a while, because they were able to get the juice, but what if they weren't able to get the juice? You know, what if, because this was very early in the morning, so the cafeteria is not open. It was only by chance that they were able to go in and get the juice. So it's like, when it comes to like, even just trying to like survive, I mean, you're in school, what happens if you have some sort of like reaction to something and the clinic doesn't have any supplies? Exactly, they're not prepared for anything. Like, how are you gonna have a clinic when you don't have sterilizers, when you don't have Band-Aids, when you don't have the basic things that you're supposed to go to the clinic for? And then if you're out, then that makes it even worse, because now you have a toss-up of, if the clinic staff finds out, are they gonna actually give you good medical care, or are they gonna refuse to like see you, or are they gonna put you in a waiting room in the back and leave you there for hours? And then be like, oh, I forgot you were back there because you were in the back room, and then just tell you to get out and go to class. So there's a lot of obstacles when it comes to accessing health, primarily when it comes to school clinics.
So where do you or any youth go to get condoms or health resources in the school community?
Oh, where I go to, I guess for sexual things, I go to, well, another program I'm in, and this lady give us like, she said she don't want us to be like, huh? Yeah, unprepared, and she will just give us like some type of items we can use, like the clinics at school, they'll just probably give us condoms and just call it a day. But like with the way she gave us like a whole bunch of things. Like she like, yeah, like she's like, if you don't want to get pregnant, we got like pills. And I just recently found out there's something like you put it in for women, like you put it inside of you and wrapped it up, and you want to go get pregnant. And I'm like, yo, I ain't know that. And when we was talking about sex, we're like people giving other people oral sex, and I'm like, okay, what do you do about that? And with the clinic, all the clinics go do is just give you condoms. Well, what I found out from her is like, you know when you go to the dentist and you get that wrap? Yeah, Yeah, she hook us up with like, she tells about all of that, and I'm like, yo, I ain't know that. Like the clinic just limited us, and they're like, we want you to be abstinent, and she's just like, if you guys are gonna have sex, at least do it safe. And I'm like, God bless you. Amen.
Uh, I've been to many clinics and many resources that pass out condoms, but they don't give the information like this young man just said, and I think that's very powerful because without why you just getting up the condom, you almost know the basic use of it, and you almost know how to put it on. You just see it as a balloon. So so I think it's better to I think it's better to give more information about what are you providing, what tools are you providing, and how to use them, and just like be safe.
See, when I was in high school, the year before last, I know they had removed sex ed out of schools. I don't know if they brought that back. No, it's still gone. Okay. So, our teacher, we used to actually have somebody from Care Resource come in and teach us sex about STDs and all this stuff. I think they need to bring that back and help these kids because a lot of kids they really don't know about STDs and all these different diseases that's out there, you know what I mean? Like and like the homeless youths, a lot of these kids they're dating people in the 30s and not knowing what these people are coming with. And once these people pass the thing whatever disease they have onto them, and then this person is like MIA, they can't find them for anything, and now you're stuck with this disease and you don't know where to start.
All right. Give us your thoughts regarding medical space and the liability of confidentiality with youth in school clinics if you're LGBTQ or HIV positive. That was a lot.
Yeah. I mean, when I first went to the clinic in high school, you have to like sign in and you have to wait like 10 or 20 minutes. But when you sign in, you have to put like your birth name and why you're there and everything. And I was like, okay. And then they called me out, and then I like went in, and they're like, this isn't you. And I'm like, yes, it is, because they search it up, and it's like female, and I'm like, oh, okay. And it's just like, they're like, this isn't you, and then blah, 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 and I had to explain it to them. And even still, like, I remember the doctor went back to talk to the nurse assistant, because our medical staff at school, they're very, I don't know how to say it in English. No, I say, like, chismo, so I don't know how to say it. Very gossipy. And so it's like, if you tell them something, half the school's gonna find out. So I got outed as well as like they kind of like they step back and they're like, I don't know what to do with this student. What does this student want? What does the student need? And they just kept calling me by my birth name and female pronouns. And I was like, listen, no, y'all need to fix yourself. And then I had to educate. It's funny because I had to educate the medical staff, and then I had to educate a lot of other people. So it's just like, it's difficult, I guess, being a trans youth and LGBTQ youth, dealing with staff and thinking, oh, well, they should be educated, but they're not.
And touching on like gossipy staff, like I'm glad that you said that because like I know that our school in particular, their kids will go to the clinic to skip.
Yeah.
And if you're friends with like the staff that works there or whatever, like if they know you really well, you'll stay in there, talk to them or whatever. So it's like, if someone's going in there for something and that student happens to be there and they hear everything, or if the staff says something and it's like, oh, do you know that this kid is whatever they are? That's like breaching confidentiality. It's like sometimes they almost see it as like, oh, it's just a school clinic, it doesn't matter, when it really does matter because you're in school for 7 hours. It's basically your second home. So if you get sick, you have to go to the clinic, and if there's that confidentiality is not there, it deters people from going to the clinic. And you shouldn't have to be educating medical professionals on how they should address you and how to respect you. Like, they should already have had they should already be educated on that, especially considering the fact that they have a degree and they're a lot older than you. You shouldn't have to be in the clinic. You go in there because you need something or you're sick, and now you have to go on like a 30-minute explanation on why you use these pronouns, why you use this name, why you are on hormones, or why you wear your hair like that because you're trying to pass or whatever. Like, you should not have to do that. You should be able to get into the clinic, be seen in a good amount of time, get what you have to get better, and then get out because class is still going on.
The thing at my school, the clinic is like, so they rebuilt North Miami Senior High, and the clinic is like right outside. So the students go through the doors, they go outside, they can either go home or they can go inside the clinic. So it's like, they're like, where the clinic is seated at, there's no police or cars right there. So you just pretty much skip the school day. Also, if you do go to the clinic, you have to be a part of the clinic to get anything. That means pads, pills, anything. You have to be a part of the clinic. You gotta have your parents' signature. There's a lot of paperwork you gotta do. Also, the students, like, they will actually let you sit in the clinic. Like, you'll go in there and you'll start talking to the people that runs the clinic, and then they just let you sit there and skip class. And if somebody of the LGBTQ spectrum come in, then they'll know their privacy would breach. So you gotta worry about a lot of your information that you don't want people to know, reaching out to another student, and then that student goes tell the whole school and their mama. So it's a lot you gotta deal with.
What changes and improvements would you like to see in the school and community as far as health resources for LGBTQ youth and HIV positive students? As far as
like I said, I think they need to bring back the sex ed. I think they need to get in touch like with different organizations like care coordinators, not care coordinators, care resource, I'm sorry, care resource, Pride Lines, the Alliance, South Florida Workforce. I think they need to get in touch with these different organizations, and if they have to set up some flyers or some like once a week meeting with these, or once a month, you know what I mean? They need to do something because it's not working right now.
I mean, they definitely do need to bring back like comprehensive sex education classes, not abstinence-only classes. What is going on with them bringing the health fair to schools, like those are like great steps. But then I know that like when I was a sophomore, we had like to take like physical fitness or something, and they had a program called Plan B, which is run by a church, and they were basically giving us our comprehensive sex ed, but it was very heteronormative. The LGBTQ plus kids were just basically excluded. It was like, this is what a male condom looks like, and I don't even think they touched on female condoms. So it's like, you got about 10% of the information that you need instead of the 100%. And then not to mention that this course was only like maybe like a 4 or 5, anywhere between 4 to like 8-week course. It wasn't even that long, and you're getting this in sophomore year. And if you miss a class, you missed that lesson for today. So it's like, not all schools have the same program. So some kids are getting information, some kids aren't. It's great that they're getting information, but what about the kids that are missing out? What about the kids that don't have, like, that their school is like, we don't want that here, and they don't get any information? What about them? That's why bringing back comprehensive sex ed is definitely something that needs to be discussed, because we all deserve the right to get information on how to protect ourselves.
Actually, your school had like much more sexual education than mine, because freshman year we had freshman experience. I don't know what that class was for, and they only taught sex. I guess it was Plan B. They came to the school one time. It was for one class. They taught you sexual education, and then it was like very brief. And then like they gave you condoms at the end, and then all the students just ran towards the condoms and just left. So it was kind of awkward, kind of weird. And then like it's like they only come during freshman year. They don't come for your sophomore, junior, or senior year. So you think you're gonna remember something all the way from freshman? I don't even remember stuff from freshman year, and I'm a junior right now. Like you will forget. They don't come back to educate you more or give you more information on other things.
And about the sex education, they need to find a teacher that's certified and know exactly word from word what he's talking about and had the experience or had someone that had the experience. Because I had a sex education and I had two matter of fact two classes. I had sex education and peer education. And the peer education, nobody even said something that was accurate, that was talking about HIV, then must come close to like giving the proper information. I was just sitting there like, what, why I'm in this class? Like, I'm not learning nothing new. I'm just learning like same thing I learned before. And then I felt awkward because I try to educate him, but I see the other students like, why you know about this? Like, so they need to like really get the teachers certified and really know what they're talking about.
And the final question is, what is the benefits of providing HIV and STD programs to high school and health education at schools in general? Anybody?
I would say so we don't have so many suicidal kids. You know what I mean? These kids, they're not being educated. They don't know who to turn to. So they get depressed. They turn to some idiot in the street or whatever the case may be. Or they shut down. You know, they're not talking to anyone. They can't talk to somebody at home. They can't talk to somebody at school, the place where they can be safe. They don't know where to be safe. So, you know, then that's when suicidal thoughts start coming in. You know what I mean? Then you don't know what to do, and you know, sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't succeed, and it's even more painful, Pat, when you do try suicide and you don't succeed. It really is.
Well, it's like it's so important. Wait, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
What are the benefits of providing HIV and STD prevention and reproductive health at school?
Okay, like the thing when it comes to reproductive health is that depending on what your background is, I know that when I never really got the talk, it was just kind of like, here's a book from the library, read it, come to me if you have questions. There isn't really much of a talk. The parents are like, oh, the school is gonna do it. And the school is like, oh, no, that's up to the parents. So when you have them passing it around, who's gonna educate these children about reproductive care, they don't learn anything. And then they'll either, like, I've heard so many people that are like, oh, you can catch this by hugging people, or if you breathe the air that they breathe, you'll catch this. It's all this inaccurate information, and it's like, I remember hearing people saying that if you have sex while it's dark, well, if you have sex at nighttime, you won't get pregnant because the sperm is asleep. So it's just like, these kids need this information because they're going out there and they're putting themselves at risk because they don't know anything, you know, and it's like, we deserve to know what's going on with our own bodies. We deserve to know what's in our bodies. We deserve to know how to protect ourselves because this is our well-being. This is our lives. And when you have like a school system that's just like, oh, don't have sex, and then you don't have this talk with your parents, no one knows anything, and it only contributes to the stigma. It only contributes to the statistics, and you just become another statistic at the end of the day.
Wait, hold up, boss. Oh, wait, you want to say something? You sure? Sure. All right. What I think is, it's better to have somebody who knows how the generation is. We don't need nobody to sugarcoat stuff. We don't need nobody to be like, oh, you should just be abstinent because that's the best way. Most students going to be like, I don't care. I'm going to just do it anyway. But at least have someone that is on the level that be like, okay, this is why you shouldn't be doing this. This is why you should be doing it safely. This is why you shouldn't be having it. Like, oh, you want to find a special one. You want to have that special feeling. Or you want to be saved and live another day. Or anything like that. But with school, what I've learned is school, they'll limit you to a whole bunch of things. You actually have to go out there and look for things for yourself. It might be hard, it might be challenging, but when you actually do find it, it will all be worth it.
Okay, the last thing, like, without these programs, people would do things like that would really harm their bodies. Like, I heard, like, because one of the people from the Alliance, they came to the school for GSA, and they said, like, there's girls out there that if they was pregnant, they'll, if you drink bleach or if you pour vinegar down your pocketbook, then like it'll kill the baby or something like that. Like it'll prevent you from getting pregnant.
If you drink a whole gallon of white vinegar, it'll cause you to have a miscarriage. It doesn't kill the baby. It causes you to have a miscarriage, which is very dangerous also.
Yeah, and like people are sometimes uneducated because I'll say, I'm not gonna point out who, 6th grade year, they thought women get pregnant by a tampon, and like it was very awkward, and then yeah, it was just very like people just need the sexual education and everything. Like they need to be prepared for life, because without that, then you will be very blindless, corrupt, going through life.
All right. Thank you. That concludes our panel. We're open for any questions.
Don't be shy.
Well, thank you.
This forum was intended to advocate for current and critical issues affecting young people in our community and create strategies for effective change. We would like to acknowledge Connect to Protect, its coalition members and collaborators for putting this forum together. Thank you for coming.